And now, from Glasgow.
So hello there, welcome to the 140th and the final issue of the Eddie Stobart. So you are going to need the parts for this issue, you are going to need the magazine, and obviously you are going to need the previous issue. So let's do a parts checklist. Gosh, nice to do a proper parts checklist for a change. It just seems months and months. So we have got this plastic front connecting plate for the trailer. We have got trailer bumper. Now this will probably look quite familiar because this looks very much like the bumper on the front of the truck. We have got a pre-assembled air pipe system. Why they've given us assembled, I don't know. I know some people had trouble, but we've assembled a lot of pipes. Maybe people have had a bit of trouble and they've pre-assembled them. I personally would have liked that to have come as 4 pipes and a connector, but you know, I'm just one person. So piece number 5 and piece number 6 are the corner plates right and left. I think that is the right and that is the left, but we'll see as we build. And then we've got some, there's a piece not listed. Do you know, I think this might be, this is piece 140.04. This is the screw cover, which I do actually think that's a little touch of good. I'll come to that later. So we've got some DD03 screws and we've got some DP07 screws. And obviously we are going to need a screwdriver. So there we go, 1 screwdriver at the ready. So okay, so this is going to involve an awful lot of flipping over, and because of the size of the trailer and the fact that I'm right-handed, there's going to be bits that you won't be able to see, and I do apologize for that, but that's the way it is. The first thing we are going to do is we are going to be popping the bumper in place. So I don't like flipping this over. So down there is the trailer, is where the bumper goes. Now there are 2 holes, and this comes in from behind like that. And then you need to screw 2 DP07 screws in, but they need to be got in from behind. So I'm going to lay my trailer down. Tell you what, actually I've arranged my seat. This might be mad enough to work. There we go. So again, if you still can't see me, I do apologise. I am doing my best, I absolutely promise you. Now there's only 3 screws, so we know one of these will be spare. And do you know what, guys, I can't get to it. It's a very, very difficult job to screw that in because you're having to come in underneath or above the trailer, but you're going to need a fairly short screwdriver. So I've screwed that in just enough to bite. It's just going to hold the other screw in, and these are DP screws, so they don't need oil because they're screwing into plastic. I'm just I'm potentially being daft here because I've got one half of the trailer resting on my desk I then have the other half resting on my desk chair, which has wheels on it, and I've recently fed my cats, which means they're in good playful mood, so they are actually running around the craft table. Okay, so that is in quite nice. I'm very happy with that. Right, so the next thing we need to do is take the air pipe. So what I'm going to have to do is flip the trailer upside down, and as you can see, look, those roof panels, we should be taping them down. That's what it says on the instructions. I haven't, and they're still holding in place. So fair dues to it. There is one positive about the end of this build. I mean, I've got a lot of positives to say about a lot of the build. Right, so we are looking for a point round about here, there. So it's going to be difficult to get a close up there, but in between the two sets of wheels, you got this little bar. Below the bar, you've got a little tab just there, and you can't see it because it's hidden by the axle, but believe me, it's there. In the middle of this pipe system, you have a hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to tuck this underneath. Now, are these wires are not the same length, so let's have a look. Right, so note that the two branches of the pipe are longer and two are shorter. The longer branches go towards the rear of the trailer, so these two shorter pipes want to go forwards. So what we'll do is we'll thread that inside like so, and then we can push that pipe system in place, and I'm suggesting that's going to hold in place, but if it does have a bit of trouble, we can always put a tiny dab of glue on that. Now what we're looking for, there we go. So if you remember on the when we did the trailer, we have these two, let's call them cylinders, and they have a little hole on the top. So what we want to do is push a pipe onto each of the little tabs on the top. So that one's in place. Then we'll do the second one, and now I can see why the shorter pipes need to go at the front, because with the I've got one missing, guys. I've actually got one of these missing, because they do come out quite easily. Right, okay, I'm sure it'll be somewhere. It's obviously fallen out while it's been in storage, so let's pretend that mine's still in place. So yeah, so my advice there then, these little cylinders, you perhaps did want to glue them in. I had plenty of opportunity to glue them in, but it's okay, mine will be around somewhere. It'll probably be on the shelf that I've been storing on. Right, so that is, for the purposes of this video, that's all four of those pipes connected. So that I'm happy enough with. And then we now need to move on to the front. So give me 1 second, guys. Oh, right, so we're dealing with I'm gonna have to zoom out. So we're dealing with this area here. This is the front of the trailer, and there's a little hitch there, and what we're looking to do is we have this piece here, 1401, and with these two bits pointing backwards, we've got two locating tabs there, and I can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screw holes. So we've got 6 holes there, so where that doesn't work out. Let me see if I've got this correct. No, sorry, it's my fault. Okay, I can see what's happened. So we're actually lining these two tabs there with this hole there. The reason I said 1, 2, 3, 4 is there's actually a paint block. If you look there, it's hard to see. there's a hole, but there's actually block on this side. So what we want to do is get something pointy. There we go. I've just used a knife there and it's just pushed that out. So, and now I can actually see a couple of other tabs. So that is going to go in like that. So 2 push tabs there, 2 push tabs there, and then we are going to finish that off with the DD03 screws, which are here, and that should be the last bit of screwing to do on this entire model, perhaps. And I think this is going to need speeding up, so let me pop the first screw in. Lovely job. Lovely. So do that nice and tight because it's going into metal, but it doesn't need to be too tight. So I'm going to get these other screws in. Okay, so that's those in place, and that's not going anywhere now. So obviously that's some kind of protective plate. So now we need to fit the corner plates, which are those 2 smaller pieces, and I'm only going to fit one on camera because it involves an awful lot of flipping with the trailer. But if we tip this onto its side, these corner plates are going to go in the corner there, oddly enough. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 holes there, and these are just going to go straight in like that, and they're in place. So I'm going to fit the other one off camera, but that, and then we've just got one more thing to do, and this I really am not going to be able to show you, I don't think. My poor old roof panels have taken a bit of bashing, so give me 1 second, guys. So I apologise for my shaky hands. I'm actually using the front view camera. You'll see in the middle there at the top there's a little hole. Now we need to get this little screw cover, and all we're going to do is push that in, and believe me, it's really difficult to do one-handed. So let me take a cut. So I just popped that in with the back. Actually I used the back of a knife, but something soft, and I've just knocked that in, and as you can see, if I pull that back from there and didn't tell you about it, you wouldn't even notice it. Right, so that's that done. Okay, so we are now on what I would truly call issue 140. These are the parts, this is the final issue. Now, the way that this is done and the size of my camera, I can't show you all in one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first stage of the curtain. I'm going to put the back, I'm going to put it in from the back, and then I'm going to do the front off camera. Then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the back off camera, and then I'll show you how to do the front. So although I'll be doing 2 different trailers, half of each, that will make it up. Now it's asking you for the specific curtain. I did pop a little label on my tarpaulin. This is the left curtain, so this is definitely, and Shadow's just discovered a new house, so this is the left, but I'll be absolutely honest with you, I can't see a difference between the two, as you can see. So, and they both kind of line up properly, you read them forwards, but I did put a label on this one. I called this the left curtain, so I am going to put this on the left, and I now need to just move a cat because he's in the way. Okay, so what it's asking us to do now is we have a little tab on the top there, and that wants to go into the silver rail on the top there, and I think we're going to need to just sort of manipulate this. So this is going to go into the top, and then you'll see like there's a little hook on it. That's going to hook round onto, there's a rail going down the side there, and in that goes. And then on the bottom we have the same again, but it's a little way up from the curtain, so that curtain's going to hang over the side. So what we're going to do, bring this curtain in at an angle and then just bring it straight so that it slides into there. We're then going to twist it so that these, that's not easy guys, that really is not easy. There we go. So we want it so that it hooks over and catches the side rail, which it's not really wanting to do. And then also the curtain isn't, it's not going to hang over. It isn't. Right, bear with me a sec guys. Am I still recording? So I just lost my monitors for a minute, so I've just stopped and started the recording. Okay, I think I'm still recording. There we go. So we need to do this in a way that the curtain just hangs over the bottom there. Okay, so once that first bit is in place, keeping this curtain hanging over the bottom, we're now going to connect the top up. Now, like I say, because I can't show you all of this, I'm going to have to finish this off camera, and then I'll start the other end off camera, and then I'll meet you at the end of the next one. Okay, so I have fitted the other side, and I've fitted half of this side exactly the same way as this. Now, first thing I've noticed is these little hooks, either I've put them in wrong, or the ones on the other side, they hook over that, whereas on this side they seem to hook from underneath. And also I'm having trouble keeping the curtain in place, so I've enlisted the help of a very thin metal ruler, and what I've done is I've worked my way across. You want the top of the top of the curtain to be on top of the rail and the bottom, but what I've done is I've taped the bottom down just to keep it above the rail. And then what we'll do is we'll get this in as close as we can, and then so we pop the top bit in, and then from an angle we get the bottom rail in, if it's going to go, because the curtain seems to want to get in the way, which is a bit of an issue. And I'm beginning to think now, yeah, the whole hook has come out, that's why I can't do it. There we go. Right, so I've got that in as close as I can. It's a few millimeters short. So what I'm going to do, you see this curtain's come on, ducked on the inside. So by pulling that out, that's given me a little bit more to play with. And then we can just keep taping this this curtain down. Keep it taut, but not really tight. So if you pull it really tight, you're going to pull it out from the top end. Right, so once we've got this in place, close enough to reach, I'm just going to twist these hooks. I want to push them round. If you might have noticed, I've taken the roof panels off, and this is really fiddly, so I might actually use a screwdriver just to give me something, or a pen or a pair of tweezers. There you go. Let's use a proper job. So what we want to do is push this hook downwards so that we can get it into there, and that's going to be a fiddle, real fiddle guys. And mine isn't going to want to go. don't even think mine are level. But saying that, I do think we could have this open. But let's keep going backwards and forwards. So I noticed that the curtain has fallen out at the back, which is probably going to. So we pull that curtain side back, and then we can just run that in there. And I think we'll put another bit of masking tape on there. Just want to try and keep that in place. If you keep it taut, it will run into that rail. If it's when you let it go loose that it starts to fall out, and if it starts to fall out in too many places, just put another piece of masking tape. You're not going to see this, guys, because I'm a little bit off camera. But this is what masking tape is for, guys. It keeps things in place. And it's temporary and it doesn't leave a mark. There we go. So now I can move this piece of tape up a little bit. And this is the problem with getting this in. If it's not up far enough, because it's a little bit too loose further back, it's just not going to happen. But I still think mine's not going to happen. I wonder if I got that bar in upside down. Yeah, mine's not going in. I can't get that bar. Yeah, okay, I see what's happened. It needs to rotate a little bit more, and then it needs to just catch on that bar. Do you know what? That's not going to happen for me. Right, okay, so I'm now thinking of alternatives. That other side has gone on perfect. Do you know what I'm going to do with mine? Bear with me a second. I'm going to remove all of this masking tape, and the whole bloody lot falls off. So I'm just going to stop the camera and swear. Okay guys, so I've struggled with that, and I just don't want to struggle with it anymore. Bits are falling off, bits are coming out. So actually what I'm going to do, I did hear it say that the curtains, you can't have them half open. I actually think you can, and that is the way I wanted to present mine, because what I wanted to do originally was I actually wanted to have the curtain half open, make up some pallets and sort of half fill it full of pallets. Now I can't do this on its side, but what I want to do now is concertina this this curtain side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push a little bit, and I'm just literally going to concertina. I'm not going to be able to show you because it's going to be so time consuming. Now the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to pull the first bit out like that, and then I'm going to fold a little bit back, and then I'm going to fold the next bit forwards and the next bit back, and I'm going to keep doing that until the length of curtain that I've got left is maybe 1/3 of the way the trailer. I may need to actually glue this in, but once there we go. So I'll then be left with that, which I may even need to glue them open. But then it will kind of sit there like this, and it will look like so. It wouldn't be folded neatly. What would have happened is whoever's driving this truck would actually have unclipped all of these, and they would have slid the whole lot back. These, in reality, this would be on a rail. There would be certain points. So it might even be worth my while just gluing some brass rod on the inside so that they hold in place, one across there, but these are actually hooks, so these will hook over there and they'll clip underneath, so they are free to move at the bottom because they've all been undone. But look guys, I'm sorry that I can't show you it finished, but that is going to be my solution to this. The other side's gone in fine. I don't like the circles on there, but you know, that's how it goes. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I will pop this on my shelf. My shelf isn't quite long enough for this, but I'm going to take a photo of it. Hopefully, I'm not very good at transferring photos from camera to from phone to computer, but I'll give it my best shot, and hopefully we'll be able to finish the end credits with a picture of my finished model. So I've actually decided just to pop a picture on it, then I can just tell you my thoughts about it. So that is from the presentation angle. I'm actually going to turn it around because the other curtain is the one that I'm going to have open. So my thoughts on this model is it's absolutely amazing. I absolutely really did enjoy doing this until we got to the last stages, and it just seems to me like Hachette gave, or not necessarily Hachette are just the publishers, but whoever made this model, I just feel they gave up. We got to the last sort of 9 or 10 issues and they just thought, you know what, I can't be bothered. And that actually fed through the magazine and through the parts to me, and then I felt the same. I didn't really want to do it anymore. Once I got to those floor, you know, I'm like, really? And then obviously I found a way round doing the floor, and then we got to the roof panels, and I to be honest with you, I mean, I came home on Sunday morning. Well, I was ready to film on Sunday morning. I've actually made this on a Friday. I've been sitting on this for a good 4 or 5 days. Just can't be bothered to do it. I've really had to work hard to film these, and it's really disappointing because I'm probably going to remember this for the roof and the floor, and it deserves so much more than that. But on the whole, it's a really good model. If it came out again, if I could go back in time and this came out, would I buy it? Probably yes, because it is a good model. If at some point in the future I can decide how to do that roof better, it's not too late. I've had a few issues on the way. I mean, I've moved house. No, I haven't moved house. This has only ever been in one house. But where I've been moving it around, there's little bits have come off. So maybe in hindsight, this is one of those few models where you perhaps, well, unless you've got somewhere to put it where it won't get touched. But I think I've knocked the mirrors off a few times. The other issue I had is the lights weren't working properly. The indicators were actually operating on their own despite being switched off, which means that either I have some kind of poltergeist in the house, or there's a short circuit. The electrics didn't really bother me because it's not going to be switched on all the time. But if I wanted to, I could always go through that at a later stage. Maybe reroute it, and maybe have a power pack, and then we'll sort those wires out one by one. But I'm really not worried about the wires. It's going to sit on my shelf and it's going to look nice, and that's how it's going to be left. So yes, so I'm bringing that almost to a close. I have some bamboo sticks, so what I plan to do is I want to make some pallets. and then I'm gonna make it look like it's half full of cargo. I just think that'll make it more interesting. I may do a video about it in the future. I may not. I'll see what happens. Drop us a comment, guys. By the time I come round to doing it, you may well have forgotten all about it. So as far as videoing is concerned, that has now come to a close. It is now the 17th of July. I have an exciting new project for you. I am taking a week's break from Wednesday, but I have said that unless there's an absolutely amazing part work, I am going to cut back on the part works, and then I'm going to theme every day of the week. So Wednesday is now going to become Wooden Wednesday. I'm going to do a variety mixed load of models, but they're all going to be made primarily of wood. I have an exciting project lined up. I actually have two projects lined up technically. Next week is more of a tool than an actual model, but it's a little workshop cabinet that I've purchased, and it's going to help me with my Wooden Wednesday builds. And then the week after we'll get straight into a new project. It could be done as one go. They say that it's about 70 hours. So what I've done is I'm buying models now, and I'm doing them as though they're part work. So each week will be split into half an hour to an hour's work, and then there'll be a big long series of not more than about 50 videos. I shouldn't think. Don't quote me on that one. But yeah, so as I say, there will be nothing coming next week. I think my Wednesday deserves a little bit of a break, and then we'll jump straight in with a new project. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you who's been with me throughout this project, and also those that have been building it. There's a couple of people who've started this, watching this project with me, who are sadly no longer with us. And that makes me a little bit sad, because you've obviously, my beliefs are you will see this, but not in the same way that we will see it. But yeah, it has been a good project. Looking at the end issues, it's very easy to slate this, but let's look at this as a 140 week project, and I would say 98% of the issues brought me a lot of joy. It's just let down by that few. And let's be fair, if you bought a bag of 100 sweets, and two of the sweets were damaged, but you were still able to eat them, you wouldn't complain, would you? So, and I feel the same with this. The parts are still parts. Some of them aren't as good as others, but 98 to 99% of this issue has been enjoyable, and I think that's a very fair assessment. So guys, as always, thank you very much, and I will hope to see you on this channel in 2 weeks. Don't forget, there are other things coming on my channel on various days, but as far as these big builds go, this is my Wednesday project, and I really hope you enjoy what's coming up next. Take care, guys. Bye bye.